I found a note on a tree that changed everything. I found a note nailed to a tree in my front yard. Let me just read it to you. Note start: I saw you today. It was your birthday. You didn't see me. You hardly ever do these days. Your skin looked so nice and healthy. And your eyes, they were the most beautiful I'd ever seen them. You've grown so much. I remember the day I first met you. It was 4 years ago. I was sitting at my desk, head down, listening to the teacher call attendance. The teacher called a name I didn't recognize, and a stranger's voice answered behind me. I turned my head and saw you, a pale, thin figure with red eyes, sitting at a desk that should have been empty. Fireflies surrounded you. Flickering, they went through you like you were mist. I thought you were a ghost. No one else seemed to notice you. Class after class passed, and you just sat there. During recess, when everyone else left, you stood up, pulled a chair next to you, and said, "Well, you're slow today. Come on, ask me your questions." I didn't run away. I was lonely and curious. I walked over and asked, "What are you?" You didn't know. You told me you used to be a child like me. But one day you woke up covered in fireflies, and no one could remember you. Every day I'd notice you, talk to you, and forget you once I left the room. I didn't believe your story, so I asked what prank this was. You told me the last time I was there, I was telling you a horror story I hadn't shared with anyone yet. You asked if my mother had recovered from a sickness. I was shocked that I'd shared that with a stranger. The bell rang, and I left for my next class. I didn't remember you. The next day, I saw your name carved on my arm. I remembered you. That day, we had a real conversation. You said no one had ever done anything like that before. I wondered if you preferred it when I didn't remember. One night, I sat up in bed, staring at your name on my arm. I heard a crash and saw my window shattered. You were outside, yelling that we should hang out. You were bad at talking to people, but that was okay. We had a lot of time. For the next 2 years, we spent most of our time together. You stayed in your old house, unnoticed by your parents. We tried to find out what the fireflies were. One day, you found a picture of 2 figures in the woods, surrounded by fireflies. They looked like you, but worse. I realized that could be your future. We searched desperately for answers. We found a journal of a mental patient who used fireflies to make people forget. He left a way out. When I read it, I didn't tell you. I took a firefly from you and let it attach to me. The fireflies left you. I remember the confusion in your eyes as you forgot me. That was a year ago. You've gotten better since then. You have friends now. You look healthier. I haven't been as fortunate. My skin is pale, and my eyes hurt all the time. I saw my mom playing with my baby brother without me. She could afford her surgery. I saw you crying yesterday with your friends. Your eyes met mine briefly. I'm going away for good. I'm happy I met you, even if you don't remember me. Note end. I sometimes go through depressive episodes, feeling lonely even with friends. I'd find myself in a bathtub, a knife in hand, wrists bleeding. Until now, I thought I was cutting my wrists. I wasn't. The cuts are letters. I've been carving a name into my arm.